On this week's episode of Capital City Sports, football takes on Texas A&M as both teams bring in the college football season. Also, volleyball and men's and women's soccer are all in action. This is Capital City Sports. Hello everybody and welcome into Capital City Sports. This is our first episode of the fall 2014 semester. To kick things off, we begin with football, as South Carolina and Texas A&M faced each other for the first time ever in school history. Let's take it to Brian Principe for the highlight.
Good evening and welcome to Williams-Brice Stadium here on this Thursday night, the start of South Carolina football. I'm Brian Principe for Capital City Sports. And welcome to the start of the 2014 season. So the South Carolina Gamecocks look to extend their home winning streak to 19 games, but the Texas A&M Aggies with new quarterback Kenny Hill look to spoil the party that Gamecock fans hoped for. So let's see what the highlight has to offer here from Williams-Brice Stadium. Cross-division SEC play here as we have South Carolina and Texas A&M kicking off the college football season, and new A&M quarterback Kenny Hill would start the party for the Aggies, finding a wide-open Ricky Seals-Jones, who appears to have a touchdown but is ruled down at the 1-yard line. But A&M would find the end zone as Tra Carson punches it in for a 1-yard score, and the Aggies are up 7-0. South Carolina would sputter in their first drive, and the Aggies would march right back down the field as Kenny Hill scrambles for a first down on this play, and the Aggies were in business in South Carolina territory. The Gamecock defense would tighten and hold A&M to a Josh Lambo field goal that extended the lead to 2 scores over the Gamecocks. But a senior connection here between Dylan Thompson and Nick Jones would work well as Thompson unloads a 69-yard bomb, and yep, he's gone. Touchdown Carolina, and the Gamecocks get back into it with the long ball. Hill and the Aggies are up for an old Texas shootout at Williams-Brice, and this screen of Malcolm Kennedy starts a drive for A&M and would lead to this pitch and catch between Hill and Seals-Jones that would put the Aggies up 10 again over the Gamecocks. But it was an air raid for Carolina as Thompson heaves a 49-yard pass on the near sideline. Demir Bird flies away with 6 as the Gamecocks are now down 3 to the Aggies. The story of the game would be the ability of A&M to respond as the Gamecock defense failed, and Edward Pope would haul in this 14-yard catch, doing his best bird flap. The story would be the same in the second half as we watched Hill rewrite the A&M record books with plays like this beautiful pitch and catch to Josh Reynolds, extending the Aggie lead to 4 scores, 38-14. Carolina would get scores from Pharaoh Cooper and a gorgeous touchdown catch from Nick Jones in the third quarter, but a costly throw from Dylan Thompson towards Shaq Rowland will be picked off by true freshman Armani Watts late in the third when the Gamecocks had a chance to cut the Aggie lead to 10. And from there, A&M would dominate the fourth and defeat Carolina at home for the first time since 2011. Here's Coach Steve Spurrier after the game.
It wasn't funny. Out-coached us, outplayed us, better prepared. They knew what they were doing. They only rolled up, 680 yards. We had to throw the ball way too much to try to make some yards. Didn't run well at all, and didn't have a chance to even stay out on the field very long. But give them credit. They're a much better team than we are. We'll regroup and come back and try to fight again against East Carolina in 9 days and see if we can look like we know what we're doing as coaches, try to put our players in position. I think our players are better than what they showed, but I don't know. We had no pass rush, and coverage was so-so, and they knew what they were doing.
So an absolutely stunning loss here for South Carolina as they fall to Texas A&M in their home opener 52-28 as Kenny Hill sets a school record 511 passing yards for the Aggies in his first start in an A&M uniform. So life after Johnny Manziel might not be all too bad for the Aggies as fans once thought it might be. So 3 things we learned here tonight. The A&M defense pretty much stopped South Carolina's offense, and Dylan Thompson really didn't look in sync most of the game, so that needs to be tightened up. The defense for South Carolina certainly needs to be tightened up going into the next game against East Carolina. And third, Kenny Hill looks like to be the real deal for A&M going on to the remainder of the season. So we come back a week and a half next week on Saturday night, 7 o'clock here at Williams-Brice Stadium is the next one for the Gamecocks as they take on East Carolina as the Pirates roll into Williams-Brice Stadium. So for now, that's all for tonight here at Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm Brian Principe, Capital City Sports.
Although the football team has an 0-1 record to begin their season, a team with a better start to their season is women's soccer. This past Friday night, they took on Boston University, coming into the game with a 2-0 record. Could they make it a third straight win? I was there, so we take it to the highlight. This past Friday, the USC women's soccer team took on Boston University. Let's get started with the action. USC had many chances to go up early in the game as sophomore midfielder Chelsea Drennan has an opportunity to score, but Boston University gets the save. And later in the first half, USC is driving down the field as Sophie Graf gets fouled, and that would set up a free kick by USC. And here it appears that number 7, Savannah McCaskill, would take the free kick, but nope, she fakes it, and number 13, Krista Neary, hits it on spot, but it's just a good save by Boston University. And then off the corner kick, we have Emily Ball, who bicycle kicks it, but Boston University is able to kick that ball out of the box, and USC would not end up scoring on that drive. The game would go into overtime, and in the first 10-minute overtime, it is Stevie Parker from outside the box, but then Boston University comes up with another great save. Then we head to double overtime, and USC has had enough. It is Raina Johnson who shoots across the face of goal and finds the back of the net. Her teammates run onto the field to congratulate her, and USC wins this one 1-0. USC improves their record to 3-0. On behalf of Capital City Sports, I'm Jeremy Urso. The men's soccer team was also in action on Friday night in their first regular season game. They took on Belmont University, and John Dowdy was at Stone Stadium, so we sent it to him for more information.
Despite stumbling through their exhibition slate, the Graveyard Lights finally came on for the beginning of the men's soccer team 2014 campaign. They played under the lights against the Belmont Bruins and looked to start off the season on the right foot. Let's see if they could do that.
Going 0-2-1 in exhibition wasn't exactly how the team wanted to start, but they came out firing in their home opener. Jeffrey Torta started the onslaught of shots, taking across and bicycling it, but Grayson Rector is there for the save. Definitely one of the more impressive plays of the night from Torta. Off the free kick, Jeff Adai takes a pass from Curtis Turner, but his shot goes just high of the net. Also in the first half, Eli Dent gets a breakaway shot, but Rector is there for the stop. The Gamecocks tallied 9 shots in the opening frame to Belmont's 2. In the second half would be no different. Ive Burnett blasts one, but another save for Rector. At the end of regulation, the Gamecocks had one final corner, but Braden Troyer's header is swatted by Rector. To double overtime now, Ryan Aramula's shot is blocked in the box, but Curtis Turner just past the diving Rector, and the golden goal gives the Gamecocks the win in their home opener.
An incredible win for the guys, starting off the season on the right foot 1-0. Curtis Turner coming up in the clutch in double overtime. The guys host Clemson next Tuesday at 7 p.m. here at the Graveyard. From Stone Stadium, I'm John Dowdy, Capital City Sports.
The women's volleyball team was also in action on Friday night. Could they pull off the victory? Let's take a look at the highlight.
The Gamecock volleyball team has high hopes for the 2014 season as they begin the season with hosting the Gamecock Invitational. Their first matchup of the tourney pit the Gamecocks against Gardner Webb Bulldogs. Let's take it to the highlight. In front of a packed house at the volleyball center, the Gamecock volleyball team looks to begin the new year with a bang. The first point of the Gamecock season came from freshman Taylor McNeil, who led the team with a whopping 16 kills. To cap off the first set, Mikhail Christensen sets up McNeil for the kill, and the Gamecocks take the first set 25-15. However, the Bulldogs would not play dead in the second set. After a serve error from the Gamecocks, Gardner Webb's Tyra Montour is credited with a kill after a lucky roll over the net, making the score 18-16 Bulldogs. South Carolina would rally from the deficit as Coco Atoa Williams gets the tremendous kill, putting the Gamecocks up 24-19. With the crowd on their feet awaiting the Gamecocks to win the second set, the Bulldogs went in for a kill, but Darian Dozier said, "Not on my watch," as she blocks the attempted spike, giving the Gamecocks the set point, winning 25-19. After another late attempt by Gardner Webb to win the third set, South Carolina would come through in the clutch with Atoa Williams getting another huge slam to record the kill and the Gamecocks' victory in straight sets, 25-21. Gardner Webb certainly kept it interesting, but the Gamecocks were able to come through when they needed to most. Their next game is Saturday at 1 against Jacksonville. For Capital City Sports, I'm Stan Smith.
The women's volleyball team was also in action on Saturday as they took on Jacksonville University. Nick Jones was at the volleyball center, so we send it to Nick with more information.
It's Saturday here in Columbia, South Carolina, and the South Carolina Gamecocks volleyball team is taking on the Jacksonville Dolphins. On Friday night, the Gamecocks won in 3 straight sets against the Gardner Webb Bulldogs. Now let's take it to the highlight to see if they can move on 2-0 for the season. Starting their second game of the Gamecock Invitational, the Gamecocks look ready to take on the Jacksonville Dolphins. Returning junior and team leader Darian Dozier would help get the Gamecocks going with this kill. Jacksonville would give the Gamecocks some free points with a couple of serving errors, but remained to keep it close throughout the set. Number 9, Emily Lascale from the Dolphins would help her team's case by getting a kill near the end of this set. With the score in the Gamecocks' favor 24-23, Jacksonville commits an error here to give the Gamecocks the game point to win the first set. No new story here in the second set as the Gamecocks would take control. Darian Dozier and Elizabeth John Bull would be big contributors in the set with several blocks, and the Gamecocks would win the set 25-14. The Gamecocks would have a couple of errors and miss hits during the set, and the Dolphins would take advantage and give them a point in the match with a score of 25-20. Elizabeth John Bull was not in the mood to mess around and sends a message to the Dolphins with this spike. Yet again, Darian Dozier shows her leadership ability and makes a great placement to help the Gamecocks stay ahead. The Gamecocks would win the fourth set 25-17. Later, the Gamecocks would defeat Georgia Tech to win the Gamecock Invitational. Reporting for Capital City Sports, I'm Nick Jones.
That'll be it for this week's episode of Capital City Sports. Thanks for watching our first episode of the semester, and be sure to tune in to next week's episode, which features football against ECU. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV. From all of us here at Capital City Sports, I'm Jeremy Urso, and make it a great week.